welcome to NFL Goal Line with Nick and Phil. As always, your hosts Nick Rice and Phil Nunziata here with you as we are every Monday night. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a lot to get to. After a thriller between the Giants and the Cowboys, what does this mean for both teams? After only a 6-point outing, will changes be made in San Diego? All this on top of Nick Rice giving you his top 5 power rankings. All this and more on NFL Goal Line.
Hello, guys, and welcome inside the NFL Goal Line Studios. This is Nick Rice along with Phil Nunziata, part of National Sports Team, along with the fine people at Spreaker.com. We are live, and a very entertaining show is set to be on tap. We have Cameron Sadeghi, the NFL expert here on NFL Goal Line, should be on us at 15 past the hour. We have my power rankings at 30 past, along with everything to do with the National Football League. And as always, Phil, to start off with the Monday night game, and right now it's all one-sided in this matchup in Arizona. What do you have for us, Phil?
Well, yeah, clearly it's been all Niners so far. The score being 17-0. 2 passing touchdowns from Alex Smith to Michael Crabtree at a 43-yard David Akers field goal, which will bring us to halftime, which we are at right now. All Niners. John Skelton really not being able to get anything going. He was picked off at the end of the half, so, not really a substantial turnover, but, interceptions are never good to throw for anybody. Alex Smith playing pretty well, managing the game. He took a few hits in this game, and I think if Arizona's going to have any chance, they're going to want to get to Alex Smith early and often. They were able to get to him and even sack him on a few occasions. But so far, it's just been all Niners.
Now, Michael Crabtree already has 2 TDs, and it looks like he is one-on-one against Patrick Peterson. He already has 4 interceptions on the year and should be a lock for at least a Pro Bowl appearance. This guy is playing some lights-out football. And for Michael Crabtree in a coming-out party against the Arizona Cardinals, now, we didn't have too much to say about this Cardinals defense, even though they are top 10. How of an impactful performance is Michael Crabtree? And does this mean that they had a lot of bust labels on this wide receiver coming out into this next season? How big is this for this Niners receiver?
Well, he's been having a pretty good day at the office so far. He's got 4 catches, 42 yards, and as we've talked about, 2 touchdowns, averaging about 10.5 yards, so about a first down per catch, which is pretty good. I don't care who you are. I think really the biggest issue with Michael Crabtree in the past was, as talented as he was, there was really no one else to get the ball to. Defenses could key up on him rather well. The 49ers finally go out and fix this problem. They bring in Mario Manningham. Vernon Davis has emerged as a Pro Bowl tight end. And, of course, there's always that threat of when Randy Moss is going to break out this season. So I think finally with some of the attention draped off of him, he can, start living up to the expectations that you would expect from a first-round wide receiver.
Michael Crabtree, 4 receptions, 42 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And let's not fail to mention Alex Smith in a coming-out party against the Cardinals. 14 of 15 for 146 and 2 TDs. A lot of guys in America labeling him as a game manager. Well, at least today, he is showing that he can sling it down the field, a first down per throw at 10 yards per attempt. The Niners are rolling 17-0 at halftime. And as for the other team in the Bay Area, the New York Giants over on the East Coast, similar story until a Dallas rally really helped in the Cowboys' case for sweeping the Giants. But obviously, in the end, it seemed to be just a fingertip too short for the Cowboys. They lose a nail-biter, 29-24, and perhaps the most entertaining game of the weekend. I was on my toes the entire fourth quarter. This game was perhaps one of the best games of the year, and it seemingly showed on the ratings. This game, as a matter of fact, was more highly rated in TV than the World Series closing game. Now, real quick, want to give a hats out to the San Francisco Giants, who are, in a sweep series, 4-0 over the Detroit Tigers to win the World Series. Congrats over there in the Bay Area. As for the New York Giants, 6-2 now, and they are an impressive team and are rolling on all cylinders, Phil.
Yeah, this was a game, I don't know how the Giants come walking away from this. I mean, I was watching this game. I'd gotten off work and I was at the gym. They had it on at the gym, and I'm just watching the Giants pile on the points. Romo can't complete a pass. I think most people thought it was over after the Jason Pierre-Paul pick six. Just an amazing play by him in his first career touchdown. But you're bringing it up 23-0. You assume it's over. There's no reason to think to even continue to watch this game. I switched the TV to the Raider game that was on, thinking that'd be at least a little bit closer. But overall, the Cowboys, like to poke fun at Tony Romo and say he's not the guy. My hat is off to him, playing as well as he did. And of course, this game is always going to be remembered. People think, that Tony Romo's surrounding cast does not give him the best chance to win, and I think it was definitely, exonerified in this game because you look at that last play that everyone's going to think about with Dez Bryant making the catch. I talked about this earlier on our Twitter page and whatnot. I don't think it's possible that Dez Bryant puts less of an effort to try and get his feet down. I mean, he made a great play on that ball, but after catching the ball, he, swings off to the side. His legs are hanging in the air like he's doing, backflips on a trampoline or something. And his legs, he's not even attempting to get his feet down. And immediately after seeing the replay once or twice, I was just dumbfounded by, him just hoping that there was going to be enough end zone for him to fall into. And I was kind of at a loss for words for a while.
And Dez Bryant certainly, I don't want to criticize too much on this play alone because Dez Bryant, in a very up and down career where people have really have really criticized him his entire career, he had a coming out party and was one fingertip away from a win. And obviously, Dez Bryant, you always, in a way, seem to criticize his work ethic and the fact that he makes so much talk off the field and not really producing on the field. But, that was an outstanding effort that, quite a few NFL receivers in this league would not even attempt. A tremendous try for the football. Now, he seemed to have a little more swing after the catch that, than I would like. Perhaps if he tried to stay on his feet while trying to dive, it'd be a different outcome. But overall, for your starting quarterback for Dallas, now they were behind early. But the reason why Tony Romo throws 62 times, dumbfounded to throw it over 60, wow. But, with the Cowboys on 17 attempts, only running for 19 yards, I'm not surprised by that stat. But you know what you're getting out of Tony Romo. And coming into this game, people criticize for the fact that he throws too many mistakes. But going into this game and coming out of this game, Tony Romo is similar to a guy by the name of Brett Favre. He's just a guy, he doesn't get injured a lot, and he doesn't make, the kind of decisions that people would like, but he's just a guy that can throw it deep, can make the big play, but also make the big mistake, as shown by 4 interceptions today. Perhaps Tony Romo, sure, the team is rallying around you and they need you to win, but he needs to take off his Superman cape because, he's throwing too many balls that he feels like he can make when obviously the Dallas Cowboys are hurting with his 4 interceptions. He takes 1 or 2 of those away, I'm sure it'd lead to a Cowboys win.
Yeah, you got to look at the situation of this game, Their run game's going nowhere. Our quarterback that's thrown 4 interceptions in this game, we got to have him throw 62 times. There's a while it doesn't look like Tony Romo can hit the red side of a barn, the way he's playing out there. But, I got to hand it to him. The fact that they came together, every time I went back and checked this game, they had a little bit more points, had a little bit more points. Next thing you know, it comes right down to it. And again, it just comes down to Dez Bryant. I think nothing symbolizes this team more than that. Tony Romo doing everything he can, and if Larry Fitzgerald's on that team, does he keep his feet in? Does Michael Crabtree, Vincent Jackson, one of those big time receivers that take the talent factor away, just that goes hard. Calvin Johnson, somebody like that. Did they get their feet in balance? I'd like to think they do, which makes me think really how much is Dez Bryant, and I'm not trying to pick on him too much, but how much is he really thinking, it's easy for us to sit here and look at it on the replay and say, oh, yeah, you should have just tapped the toes. Everything's easier said than done. But it's just something about the way his legs are just hanging in the air as he falls down. Because, if he swings his legs back down and they hit the ground before his hand, then it's a touchdown anyway. So there's no reason to try a little bit more. I think he just left too much up to chance, if you ask me.
And obviously, it just doesn't seem also with Des Bryant, but the football team. Now, both these teams rank in the top 5 offensively and defensively. The reason the Giants are 6-2 is the same reason that the Cowboys are 3-4 this season. You know, the yards are there, along with the fact that they can play tremendous defense. But the Giants are first in the East because they convert their drives into points. As for the Cowboys, they convert their drives into missed field goals, turnovers, and also failed scoring opportunities. They're 3-4 right now, and they are looking very pedestrian in this division where the Redskins are coming along. We'll get to them later. And also, you have a team in the of course, Philadelphia Eagles, that every week they seem to be up and down. They could, they're very talented. They can go into Dallas or obviously the Giants, and they can take them down. It'll be a very tough race towards the end, but the Cowboys at 3-4 may have lost the game that they needed. The Giants are a tremendous team, but the Dallas Cowboys certainly took a big step back with the Falcons and the Philadelphia Eagles on the road in weeks 9 and 10.
Yeah, this race definitely always heats up, no matter how much, it's been years since anyone has really ran away with this division. Sometimes it even just comes down to the teams in the division beating each other, and everyone else, they either play good against or play poorly against. It doesn't matter. In this division last year, 8-8 won the division. There's been years where, 11-5 has gotten you in the wild card. So it's really just been up and down with this division, over the years. Obviously, I pay attention to it more than, maybe most people, being that my team's in said division. But it's just one of those, all these teams know how to beat each other, which makes it interesting at the end of the year.
And obviously, this race will come down to the wire, and the NFC East right now is led by the Giants at 6-2. Redskins, Cowboys, and Eagles are the remaining 3 teams. And in a tough conference such as the NFC, it may just be the team that wins this division being the only team out of the East that makes it to the playoffs. The Giants are a tremendous team, but the Cowboys need to get things going. They face the Falcons, Eagles, and then the Browns in the next 3 weeks. It should be very exciting. And the Dallas Cowboys, if they cannot win next week at 3-5, they seem to be out of the postseason. Coming up next on the other side of the break on the NFL goal line, we will call in Cameron Sadeghi to the show. He's a very exciting guy that always gives his thoughts on the entire NFL. He'll take a look of the New England Patriots after a dominant win in London, 45-7. Are the Patriots the best team in the NFL? A quick 30 and we'll be back. This is the NFL Goal Line with Nick and Phil. Welcome back to the NFL Goal Line. This is Nick Rice along with Phil Nunziata, and Cameron Sadeghi should be joining us within the next few moments. Here is Cameron. He is right here on the show. We always love to have you, Cameron, week in and week out. You give your tremendous opinions on the entire NFL, and he is a New England faithful, obviously a big fan of the Patriots. 45-7, Cameron. What are your thoughts on an impressive victory? We always thought the Patriots were an offensive juggernaut, but their defense came to play in London, and now after another win, the Patriots seem to be on a roll.
Usually people are surprised, you're impressed by, you think Patriots are going to go to the Super Bowl, but I wasn't really, I was pretty impressed with the fact that they got their offense a little bit back on track, especially the passing game. I know they're trying to get to a more balanced team, and that's something that I really wanted to see in New England. But I just thought that the passing game needed a lot of improvement, and I think it was because of their health. Gronkowski's been a little banged up. Hernandez wasn't at the game yesterday, and finally I feel like they got their passing game back into control. Now, I don't think they were challenged as much as I was expecting them to be, because I thought the Rams' defensive pass rush was absolutely horrific. Maybe it's because New England did a good job in the offensive pass protection. I got to give them credit for that, but I expected way more from St. Louis, and they kind of disappointed me. So that's one thing I can take away from this, if they improve the passing game. On the defensive side, I'm going to be honest, I think the Rams' offense, especially their passing game, they're a one-dimensional team that relies on Steven Jackson. I don't think Sam Bradford